It's the flip-flop, and we're back here with Sergeant Dickhead. I can't believe he keeps that. But how the fuck does he not, like, when he comes to and from work, how does he not blow everything up? Right, so we've done that. The lodge, we'll go there last. Right, let's go to the meat plant. That's supposed to work. Harvest meats. What the fuck is that? A red brick building with a horrible stench coming from within. Why the hell could we not investigate that thing that's pulsating? Oh, lovely. This is exactly what I wanted. All these cats. This used to be a kitty cat. Like, everything in these barrels smells extremely bad.
Steve,
that's alright.
How's your father? Is he better?
About the same, I guess.
He's been away from work for weeks, and when I call your house, your mother won't let me talk to him.
I haven't seen him either.
This is a fine kettle of fish, I must say. Though I am glad to see you taking an interest in the business in your dad's absence.
Who are you?
Aw, Steve, I didn't want to believe that amnesia hokum. Now you're saying you don't remember your pal Pat O'Reilly?
Might munch me on a pop tart, so give some munching.
You may come to realize that this business is not for everybody. Just ask your poor, ill dad. It takes dedication. And a strong stomach.
Pop tart away, actually.
A lot of times, when I'm finished scrubbing up and digging the bits of intestine out from my fingernails, I must confess I don't have much appetite for red meat. But red meat is one of the principal food groups, and you've got to have it. So when you can do this all day and help yourself to a juicy red steak afterwards,
yeah, of cat.
Then by golly, you can call yourself a butcher.
Oh, I look forward to the day.
Of course, amnesia would certainly help that, wouldn't it? What exactly is wrong with your dad?
I don't know.
I wouldn't worry about it too much, Steve. You should be thinking about running the family business one day. That, getting into the lodge.
Look, I'm not kidding about the amnesia. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you always were such a kidder, Steve.
Funny how that's beginning to sound like a stock answer. Like it was coached.
You sure are acting like a kidder, son. With your dad ill, you're gonna need to start behaving like an adult, especially if you're gonna take over the family business. You may come to realize that this business...
Oh, I left it then.
And a strong... A lot of times...
I thought there was another option. I didn't click on meat. It said something about meat. Oh, come on. Hold up, you bastard. Come on. Don't say you pitched out. It's got a nice little scar on his face, isn't it? Come on.
But red meat is one of the principal food groups, and you've got to have it. Then, by golly, you can... Of course, amnesia would certainly help that, wouldn't it?
Meat. There we go.
Come to think of it, I don't see any cattle around here. Where do you keep the animals?
Does it matter? The end product is all the customer cares about, Steve. And we only carry the finest meat. Only the juiciest cuts.
Nice.
Once you take over the business,
Oh, for God's sake, this again.
you'll realize the importance of maintaining quality while cutting costs. We know what we're doing here, Steve. If we didn't, would the lodge use us to cater their affairs? Your father's very particular about the profit, Steve. No freebies for anyone. But seeing how you're his son, if you'll bring written permission from your father, I'll give you the meat.
Okay.
There are certain tricks of the trade, Steve. Once your dad gets better and you start working in here cutting up the meat, you'll be privy to them.
Oh, for fuck's sake, this again.
There's always cheaper, better ways to do things, if you're creative.
Yeah, use cats. Not creative, just twisted.
Don't be such a stranger, Steve, and my best to your dad.
Okay, so we exit here. Wow. And because I imagine we're going to be back there. The memorial school. Where so and so shagging. I can't remember who said the logo again. And the logo's what spins around. Oh! Would you invite me to come on behind you then? Oh! There's a different way of doing it. Lime and soda. Right. Let's break into all these lockers. Bullington board riddled with staples. Looks like the bag sale will be held here. This drinking fountain doesn't work. These lockers are riddled with inexplicable stains and dents. Examine a glass protected fire alarm. Room closet. Oh, so those doors work.
Steve, good of you to drop by, big guy. Haven't seen you since graduation. A lot of changes, I hear.
You could say that.
Good, good. That's a nice part of my job. Turning fine young men and women out into the world, and then watching them prosper. Of course, I was able to reach more people at the old Sentinel, God bless her. But then again, I never got to see the results of my work up close before.
Who are you?
You know very well I'm Mr. Harold, the principal of Gain Memorial. Steve, I've heard about this amnesia nonsense. I had hoped you'd be in the lodge by now, fine young fellow like yourself. But now, I think maybe you need a little more quality time.
What do you mean, quality time?
Some, like Miss Whaley, favor stern discipline, corporal punishment, as a means of socialization. Myself, I temper discipline with love. Quality time can be such a warm, sharing experience. After just a few sessions, you'd stop this amnesia nonsense and become a productive member of society and a fit candidate for the lodge. Big guy, barring some quality time, the greatest gift I can bestow upon you as your former principal is a word of advice. Join the Order of the Harvest Moon at any cost. Within the lodge lies your future, and without dust.
Why do you keep calling me big guy?
A sign of respect, lad. As principal, my station is higher than yours now, but you never know what the future holds, so you should always hedge your bets and pay tribute to your inferiors. You never know who will come to power, or who, even now, wields it behind the scenes. For all I know, you might already be a member of the Order, with access to the Lodge. If that were the case, you'd be my superior, and I'd be all that much better off having shown you respect and spent some quality time with you. Surely mine is the most important position in Harvest. The ability to mold young minds. That's power. You might think Sheriff Dwayne's the most important man here, big guy. But he only deals with my failures. When I do my job right, the sheriff never sees a thing. Drop in again soon. Adult education is a wonderful thing, as is adult quality time. Seeing you here again, one would think you'd never graduated. Nostalgia is a waste of time, big guy. You need to move forward, and if you ask me, the Lodge lies firmly in that direction. Drop in again soon.
So, these Miss Wiley.
My goodness, class, this is Stephen. He used to be a student here at Gein Memorial. Say hello, class. They're reticent. The educator's gravest problem today is the apathy of the students.
What's wrong with their heads?
I can tell you in one word, Stephen, discipline. Thank goodness you weren't a sulky bear. You were always a smiley bear.
Then you remember me?
Not as such. So many pupils, Stephen. They come and they go. But I can always spot those who were nice boys. You can tell from the forehead. The lobes, right, class? I'm glad you stopped by, Stephen. Would you care to say a few words to the class about civic responsibility?
Not really. I was just passing through.
Oh, but you must, Stephen. A positive role model might be just the thing to inspire these little monsters. Stephen, have you any questions for me? Or shall I continue with class?
Should have said it.
Ask away then. We don't practice corporal punishment here. I've never believed in that old adage, spare the rod and spoil the child. A rod is too thin, but a baseball bat...
Shit.
That bridges the generation gap quite nicely.
Shit.
Oh dear, Colonel Monroe is conducting another air raid drill. Everyone into the hallway, quick!
No way.
If an A-bomb hits, what good is it gonna do to duck and cover?
They tried to do it comedic like that. No way. That seems like a comedic value. Shit.
My stars, that was exciting.
Fuck yeah.
This lodge. What do you know about it?
The building itself, like Harvest, was constructed with a specific purpose in mind. That noble intent is known only to those within the Order. You're at about the right age to join them, Stephen, and you will do so if you care about your future.
It's a shame because, you know, there are kids who have to deal with that sort of stuff, do you know what I mean? There are kids who are abused and beaten and much worse. You know, luckily Yeah, I never had to go through any of that, like, you know, all that demons and that shit, fuck.
Can you tell me anything about Harvest?
Harvest was founded by the Order of the Harvest Moon about 100 years ago.
For what purpose?
Why, I'm sure you'd have to ask them. You'll find the members of the Order at the lodge.
Shall I take corporal punishment again?
We don't practice corporal punishment here. I've never believed in that old adage, spare the rod and spoil the child. A rod is too thin, but a baseball bat...
Is it going to do the air raid again?
That bridges the generation gap quite nicely. Oh dear, Colonel is conducting another air raid drill. Everyone into the hallway, quick!
This kid beaten to death, like. To be honest, I think that would do it. She's a big woman, I bet she can get some power.
If an A-bomb hits, what good is it gonna do to duck and cover?
That's sick. That is sick.
My stars, that was exciting.
Should we do it again?
Stop by any time, Stephen.
Can I talk to any of the girls? The children look stunned and zombified. Projector carefully engineered to sound good and played underwater. Is it the same? Yeah, same, gotcha. So the broom closet, that's where I've got to get that key for. I've got to get the sneakers. Well, we'll save it there. Malop. And I will see you on the flip-flop.